Okay, so today I am going to go over character creation using Character Creator 3 from Who Makes Character Creator 3 Reillusion. Um, I'm going to make my base character in here and then we'll do clothing probably in Maya. I've because there will be naughty bits on the character potentially, I've put this cartoon shader on, which is okay because I want to make a toon character anyway. And I'm going to start off with some presets, I think. I've sort of got an idea of what I want to do. I just need to, I'm going to pick some eyes first. Have a look at these ones. Do you want the bigger eyes or the smaller eyes? For the type of game we're making, the bigger eyes are probably better. I'm going to have to do something with the eyelashes. I don't have any toon eyelashes, but we can sort that out later. The skin's not too bad. I don't mind having that blush and stuff like that because we are going to make a female. So first thing we're going to do here is find a base that seems appropriate. Chloe's maybe a bit short. What's that, 156? That's not too bad actually. What's Abby's? 146. What are the other options in the basic? 144, yeah, I think they're too toony as well. Alright, I think we'll start with Chloe as the base for the body. And then for the head, looks real babyish. Chloe's head's alright. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is we'll start with 100% Chloe. And then maybe modify it a bit. Maybe take some of the Chloe out. Hey, Abby's got a kind of pointy chin, doesn't she? That's going to make the eyes way too big. And Edna's, yeah, sort of wider. Alright, so from here, we might go a bit more manual on the settings. I'm going to start with the body. What is she? 160 centimeters. Might make her a bit more muscular, I think. Go with some. Where are the female Asian, female. I might just type female in. Female athletic. Apparently it's going to make her shorter. That's not really what I want. All right. Let's go for some muscle. Let's go whole character muscle. Tighten the abs up a bit. I don't really care about the butt. She's going to have a skirt on anyway. Actually, let's see if I can pull. I might actually just pull the butt in a bit just to get it out of the way. I'm not going to do too much on this character just because, it is a Game Jam character. I'm going to spend all day on it. But I thought I'd show some process, and there'll be a lot more in the making the clothes. Will be a lot more detailed. That nose is a bit small for the look I want to go for. So I might pump that up a bit, widen it. pull it down a little bit. I think that's better. She's got a pretty vapid expression, so I might just do a bit of quick. I don't really want her to pucker up. We'll go for something a little more feminine. No, that's not what I want. And I might scale the bottom lip a bit. Thin. No, that's not quite it. Lower depth. So move that out a bit. Yeah, profile's alright. I think I'll narrow her eyes down a little as well. She's already got pretty round eyes, but let's have a look. Okay, and lower lids. Well, I guess under her giant eyelashes. You're not going to see much there anyway. I don't need to move the eyebrow at all. Yeah, I want to give her a bit more of an angry expression. It's not doing much. You know, it's not doing much. That's just going to narrow it down. Actually, that's it makes it look like she's got a bag under her eyes if I do that. Crease height. Alright, so we'll go down to some more detailed eye settings here. One of the problems in Character Creator is when you've got extreme morphs like this head, with these like big eyes, because it's cartoony heads, sometimes when you do a morph, you'll get things like this where the geometry doesn't quite work out. So you've got to navigate around that sometimes. I can see it's doing it there too. It's bringing up the corner of that eye just too much. It's not what we want. Don't think I'm going to be able to bring these eyes together much better, to be honest. That's alright. That's alright. Okay, I'll stop there for a second and just have a look. Oops, that was not the button. That's not the button I wanted at all. Where is the button I want? The button I want is up here, I think. Yeah, alright, so her eyes aren't going to close properly, so we are going to correct her eye blink. That looks much better. And we'll open her mouth. And that looks okay. feet don't really matter. So we're going to have a skirt, so the waist doesn't really matter. She'll have a t-shirt on. I think that I'm pretty okay with that as the base shape. I'm not really too worried at all about improving or making the shape fantastic. Let's have a look and see if you've got any hair that really suits what I want to do. I kind of want to make this rocky kind of chick. That's actually not bad. Oh, that is not the button I wanted. This is the button I wanted. And just ignore Photoshop opening in the background. Go for something a bit more orange. Put some more colour into it. Alright, that is pretty good. Get rid of that Photoshop. Oh, nails. That's something I'll have to look at. Alright, so I think that is a pretty good base with the hair. Just throw some clothes on her temporarily just so she's not sitting around naked. I'm not too worried about this pop through and stuff because this won't be her final clothing anyway. And we will just throw a skirt on her as well. Just so she's got something to wear. Scene view. Shirt. I can just adjust this slightly. Right, that'll do for the time being. So that gives us our base character. Let's say I'm not going to actually keep these clothes anyway, so I don't think there are any cool shoes for the Toon characters. Or at least I don't have any cool shoes for the Toon characters, I don't think. Smart gallery. Shoes? Like moon boots. They actually wouldn't be a bad base to start modeling some proper boots off. Some like combat boots or something for her. So I might actually keep those as they are. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. So now we're going to go into the part of this. I mean, you can spend forever adjusting little details and stuff to get, if you wanted her to have more muscles or something, which honestly I actually might do. She does look a bit emaciated, to be fair. Give her a bit more muscle. Bulk up that tricep. Because she should at least look fit, not like she's about to fall over. Do the same thing with the legs. That looks a bit weird. Just buff up the individual muscles, I think. Buff up the quad. And where are our calf muscles? Buff up the calf. Alright, that's a bit better. At least she looks like she can play an instrument and not fall over now. Alright, so as I say, we could spend all day tweaking that stuff, but what I want to spend all day doing is tweaking this stuff instead. We're going to work on some makeup. Pardon me. It is extremely hot here. Hopefully the fan noise is not too bad on the stream. But I am boiling alive. Now, one of the downsides to this is it often adds annoying normal maps when you start using these editors, which I don't really want, but that's not too bad. All right, so head, we're going to go into, going to get out of the Smart Gallery and we're going to go into different kinds of makeups. Alright, do we want to do any of that stuff? Do the lips with lipstick in a minute. Don't really want to add any skin details. Nails we want to have a look at. Okay, so she's a guitar playing gal, so don't want to give her long nails. Oh, that's alright. And don't need any of that. Alright. Pardon me. Alright, makeup proper. So I'm going to start with giving her some lipstick. Classic vampire. Do we want to go the goth look? Nah, that's too harsh. Just want some like cherry red or something. That's too deep. I don't know about this red. I think I'll end up probably doing custom eyelashes. So I'm not going to worry about those. The eyebrows I'll have to do manually. Because being the Toon character they're built in. Let's try some eyeliner. It's a bit subtle on the toon character, isn't it? Something a bit crazy. Fortunately, the bottom of that eye just isn't prominent enough. I wonder if we can do much about that with this morph on it. Scale eye outer height. Outer width. Inner width. Yes, that's affecting something we don't want to affect. Adjust the depth. Alright, that's bringing it in a bit. Corner depth. Alright. Go back into our makeup and leave that how it is. And I think I will add that as well. Doesn't really seem to be doing much at all. Alright, let's have a look at eyeshadow. Go for the classic dark smoky. Might be a little too much. Oh yeah, I can get down with that. I might see what happens if we pop a bit of foundation on there. Maybe go with a heavier foundation. And all these things can be adjusted as well. You can come in and make things stronger or weaker and adjust. Some cases, some of these sliders won't really do much, but you can adjust the strengths and that's all the micro details. If we get more luck up here, you can see I can affect how bright this is, how light and stuff it is. And there's the one that's what I was looking for, really, opacity, like how much is that affecting it. So if I want to go full goth or whatever, that's where our options are. I'm going to make it fairly heavy, and I could also, if I wanted to, I could actually make it a different color or, you know, whatever we want to do, but I don't want to do any of that. So we're just going to leave it with that pale white. No, I am going to leave eyelashes alone. I keep going back to them, but I am going to leave them alone. I don't want to make her dirty. I don't really want to put any other paint on her. Make her a clown. Give a bit of contour, maybe. Kind of flies in the face of a toon character to try and use contour makeup, but Let's give it that slightly pointier look. That actually looks pretty good, I think. Do I want to use any blush? It's a good question. Oh yeah, I think that does help. And I'll make the blush a bit stronger. Saturate it up. No, now she just looks weird. That's not cool. Just looks like a grandma now. It's not what I want at all. Don't want to do any of that. Let's have another look at eye makeup. I don't really have anything that goes down onto the cheeks how I would like, without doing something custom. That's probably it's a bit on the nose, isn't it? That also, I think, might be going a little bit too far. That's really not the look I'm going for. All right, let's go back to our dark smoky. And try adding that on top. Yeah, that's all right. Okay, yeah, I'm reasonably happy with that. I'm not 100% happy with the makeup. Lower this sort of goth look a bit. And I think her cheeks are too pronounced. We'll bake that in. And let's have a little look at the facial structure. Cheeks. I just want to narrow her cheeks in a bit. Give her a bit more of a V. And bit of a crease. And then I think the jawline. Pull the jaw in a bit. Getting these weird Mad Moxie vibes from her, which is not quite what I was going for, but So I'm not going to spend all day on this. Eyes. Eyelash. No, that's not what I want. Upper scale, upper height. That's what I'm looking for. Alright, get that eyelash out of her eye. I assume there'll be a lower height as well. Lower width. Center depth, root height. Oh, root height. Good, that does some more, but I want the the lower version of that, please. If we can just add that in, eyelash lower. Width, 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 depth. Don't think depth is going to do it. Oh, it moves it out though, which is something we probably do need a bit. Lower depth, lower center depth. No. Lower tip angle, no. Let's play with everything till we find the thing we want. I haven't played with eyebrows very much in the past. Something I usually turn off in a lot of my projects. But for this one, I think this character needs eyelashes. Lower angle. No, that's angling it down. Lower height. That's what I want. It still needs to go further. Root height? Oh, yeah. Inner root height. Is there an outer root height? There is. Great. So I'm going to pull that down, and then hopefully there's a middle as well. No, a lower depth. Oh, that's in out, not up down. Okay. So what we can do that I was hoping not to do is adjust individual as well. Again, I want outer. Should better do this one so I can actually see what I'm doing. Still not enough. A little bit still in her eye. Might have to just change the geometry directly on that one. Although I can just crank the whole thing down a bit more here. That kind of, I mean, in the right angle you can see it, but I don't think that's going to be a big deal. Well, now I've done that, maybe I will play with the eyelashes a bit. Although, I do want something thicker, I think. Okay, let's have a look at eyelash. So this is her opacity map. Upper lower sets. So feel like I really need the normal map on there. And I won't be too worried about having a roughness map either, to be honest. So what I might do is we will save project as whatever this character's, we don't have a name, so Jam4 car. So we can take it into Photoshop and we can draw our own set of lashes. What I think I'll actually do is save this. I'm just going to throw it on wherever it is. Save that to the desktop. Beautiful, whatever. And then I think we'll go to Illustrator. And grab that. And build something that looks like eyebrows, hopefully. And the right layer. I said eyebrows, I mean eyelashes, of course. Now these are obviously not intended to be realistic by any stretch of the imagination, going on a toony character as they are. And we can join that back over there. That looks a little bit, a little bit weird. Move this over a bit. Curl that. And same with this one, just increase the curve. Definitely not my best work so far. But, again, we don't have all week. Or rather, we have only 1 week, so... That's not what I wanted at all. I want the whole thing. Am I just wasting time doing this? I think for now I am just wasting time doing this. I might sort that out later if I want to. I think this is a productive use of my time today. Sorry, Photoshop. Alright, I think it is a much more productive use of my time to make clothing. So, we get this poor girl. I'm going to leave her boots because I want to base the boots I'm going to make off those boots because I think they're a good base. Keep her hair, keep everything else, and we will export her as an FBX to Maya. I'm only making a clothing, so I just want the mesh. A T-pose or an A-pose? I'm going to put her in a T-pose. And what I should do is open Maya. And we will create a project folder for any assets that I'm going to create myself. Wait for Maya to finish initializing all of its other bits that it does once it gets to this point. Nearly done. There we go. Oh, fine. What have I installed? I've obviously installed something since I last opened this. Gotta wait for that yellow bar to pop up. Project window, new project, Jam4, accept, and that will create a Maya directory for us. And then in our projects here, if I refresh, I said if I refresh, I think I know what I did. Oh, I think I know what I did. Let's open her back up. File. Project window. I did. That was stupid of me. I'm still in the base of my last project. So what I want to do is that. Now we will select that. GoedWare Jam4, and I'll just have to go back into that other folder later and delete the project that I created in there. It doesn't actually make any files or anything, it just makes folders. Export to GoedWare Jam4 assets, main character, and that will export our mesh. So now back in Maya, we can come in, import, go into our assets, and grab main character, FBX, and it'll take a minute to load because it's got morph shapes and all sorts of things. And then what we'll do is make some clothes for her, make her a shirt and a skirt and maybe some armbands or something like that. And I will make her some nice boots. Alright. So here's our girly. First thing I'm going to do is select all of that. And in fact, I will expand this out and grab the shoes. I'm going to put the shoes on their own layer and just lock them down for the second. And then I am going to grab the rest of her body. I'll leave her hair out and we will lock that down as well. Let's rename, double click. Yeah. Call this one body. And I'll put her hair on its own layer as well. Lock that down. And this is her boots. Alright, so just so all that stuff is out of the way, we can still work on her. Now I'll grab her body and I will make it live, which means I can basically draw on it now with other tools. And I'm going to use the quad draw tool, turn symmetry on. Hopefully she is relatively symmetrical. And we will start making a t-shirt. Go with a V-neck, I think. It's not the best start. I think I'll start. Let's lay in the basics. Let's act like a proper artist, eh? Do things in a sensible manner. I'll fix that up using different tools later, I think. Otherwise I'm going to end up just wacky geometry there. And we'll make the t-shirt go, pardon me, we'll make the t-shirt go all the way down. Put a seam down here, I think. That's already going too high. I'm going to keep this line fairly flat, because I want to make sure that is mostly under the waistband of her skirt. There we go, t-shirt, 100% complete, easy. Whoops. Sometimes this tool just doesn't like to grab what you want it to grab. That's better. Now, how do I want to finish this off? I don't really want to do that. That's just not good geometry. I could do that. I'm an idiot. Ah, some days, I tell you. Okay, where do we need more? Leave that for the moment. We'll do one there. I'll just smooth this out a bit. So obviously going for a tight, fairly tight-fitting t-shirt here, but I will adjust it a bit later. A couple of divisions there, and then stretch out so we can have a nice seam here. Smooth all this back in. Do some work on this neckline. And leave that plunging down a bit. The V-neck at the front. And if it was a V-neck, it'd pull down. So this is where the tool I'm using basically conforms to the body, but we'll get into situations like this with these breasts because I'm not using anywhere near as much geometry as the mesh underneath actually has, where things won't conform perfectly. So that's where you need to do some manual correction. All right. Smooth this out. And that is looking pretty okay for the easy part. Obviously, it doesn't really look like a t-shirt right now, but we'll get there. We've got the easy bit. All right, so that is essentially t-shirt created. T-shirt. And then we will start again. Give her skirt a reasonably high waist, I think. And from here, we're just going to basically go classic tartan schoolgirl punk style skirt, which in these automated tools I'm going to be happy with, so I'm actually clicking on anything right now. So I'm just sort of pretending that the geometry exists. Alright, so we'll get rid of that. And here's where we start doing a bit of manual labour. Oop, I'm still live. Turn my live surface off so I can actually move things where I want them. Okay, that's alright. We can go back into put my live surface back on. Oh, that's not what I want. I want body as my live surface. Go back into my... Oh, I'm doing it all wrong today. Select my thing, then click on quad draw. Put some dividing geometry there. Turn quad draw back off, get rid of our live surface again, and start pushing around our vertices. That's not bad. Turn our live surface back on again. Oop, did the wrong one again. Back to our skirt. I'm just going to subdivide up a bit. Smooth out a little of this. So you can see this is a fairly iterative process, going back and forth. There are many other ways to make clothing. I could use Marvelous Designer, for example, and use cloth simulations to do all this. But often I find that Marvelous Designer can be more effort than it is worth for doing simple clothing. If you want to do something multi-layered and crazy, then it is definitely worth having a play with. But for this kind of thing, where we're just making a fairly rough video game character, and making simple clothes that we just kind of want to fit to the body, it's not a necessary tool. Also, it has a lot of issues, even many generations in, that they've just never fixed. So I'm not always its biggest fan. It's not particularly stable. They're on like version 12. When I started using it a few years ago, it's like version 6, and they seem to put out, I don't know, it might even be more than a version a year, to be honest. And they just add incremental features that aren't really worth the updates. But you're not here to hear me whinge about Marvelous Designer. You're here to watch me make a beautiful skirt. For our glorious character for this game jam. Something to keep in mind, of course, when doing these kinds of things is how this is going to have to move in relation to her body when the character animates. So we want to keep our lines relatively straight and our spacing relatively even to prevent any weird deformation or stretching once we've textured it and stuff like that. So I want to keep everything, you know, in a as nice a grid as we can while getting the effect that we want. That, I think, is not too bad. And I don't mind these little ends to the point where I think I might. I don't mind that at all, actually. Kind of gives that a bit of a an extra pleated effect. Alright, I think that'll do relatively for that. Move these up a bit. Naughty. Just going to try and even out this waistband a bit. And you would eventually encounter a bit of pop through by moving these around. No, that's a bit too wide there. Jiggle that around a little and pull this one down a little. And push these two up a little, just to round that waistline off a bit and move them out a bit. That looks okay. Shape this a little more so it's got that skirt profile. Might pull those out a bit. Again, just to give it a bit more of that skirt profile. Do the same deal here, but I don't want these end ones. Yeah, says schoolgirl to me. I am a punk rocker. So probably just, do we want to double side it or do I want to just put more geometry into it? It's a good question. How many polys is it now? Well, like nothing, so. Alright, put more geometry into it. Okay, I think that'll do. Once I double that up, it'll be a fair bit more geometry. So we'll just use this extra geometry to pull in a bit more of that pleated look. Obviously not doing, super duper engineering here or anything, but it'll be good enough. Put that in a bit and see if I can get these without grabbing anything else. I missed that middle one. Whip that right in there. How's our profile? Don't like these. That looks a bit weird. And that looks a bit weird. Might give it a quick average. No, so any average at all is gonna cause a little bit of an issue. That is a much nicer shape. So, alright, let's grab that and we'll do a little more. Okay, we will deform it with lattice transformer. Shape of 5x3, that's probably... No, you don't want to be lattice deformed. Why don't you want to be lattice deformed? No deformable object selected. It should be deformable. There we go. So what the lattice deformer does is lets us make broad changes controlled by these points on the outside. So I can make sure that I'm only moving sort of what I want to. It's largely a sort of a shaping tool more than anything. So if I want to, for example, bring the bottom of the skirt in, I can move that, but it's still going to hold a lot of this fairly rigid. So I can just get a better sense of shape, better control over my shape, without having to individually push vertices around, which, as you would have already seen, is a bit of a pain in the bum. And this is a good method as well, like when we have that shirt, because I still need to fit the shirt to wear a bit better, getting this hemline right and stuff like that. You can see we've already got some sort of pleaty looking there, which is great. That's what I want. Have a bit of a look at that. Okay, so I'm going to grab all these edges on the inside of this, and I'm going to smooth those out. So if we have a look, our band is smooth and you've got a little line there. When people talk about normals, this is basically using normals to get a bit of a effect with that before we even get to texturing and stuff. So we've got a hard normal line along the band there, and these are hard normal lines. But these ones in the middle are soft, and the ones between all these ones that I just did there, it's just softened all those, so you don't see the line there. I'm just going to flatten that history down, and we will work on the shirt. So I'll name the skirt. Let's call it punk skirt. We'll go to the t-shirt. And that's probably a good idea to save as well. Punk clothing. Alright, you can see here we've got this giant history from all the tweaking we did before. I'm just going to get rid of that because things start acting funny when their history is too big. you've ever been in a relationship, you'll know how having too much history can be an issue. Just a bit of dark humour relationship joke there. Oops, that's not what I want at all. So what happened there is I grabbed the bone because bones love getting in the way in Maya. So I'm going to hide those bones so that doesn't happen again. Maya loves to prioritize bones over everything else. Oop, I did not want to go into colour. 5 is the shortcut key that I want there. And so again, I'm just going to roughly sort of pull vertices around. Should probably put another edge loop or two in here, I think. Put one there. Maybe put one there. Probably there. And why not? Let's just do it all over. So what I might actually do in this case is turn my live surface back on again. Oh, base body, thank you. Come back into my quad draw. Select my shirt. Come back into my quad draw. And I might smooth it out this way first. Now, obviously, unless you have the tightest of tight shirts, no t-shirt is going to cling to your body like this. So that's one of the big things that we're gonna fiddle with in a minute, is sorting that out. And I'll just go around the neck again and smooth that out a bit. I might as well put some more geometry in here just to get the breasts a bit nicer. Again, you know, t-shirts don't cling to breasts like this unless they are super tight, which is not the plan for this shirt, to be super tight. This shirt is intended to be something you could comfortably wear on stage. Alright, so that fit is a little bit better. And the first thing I might do is just cheat a little bit. Turn that off. Center up our pivot here. And we might just cheat by scaling up a little. Scale it up, move it a bit down. Move these vertices in a little. These vertices in a little. Grab those couple of edge ones that are still sticking out a little. Just pop that in there. And start a bit of manual jiggery pokery. I'll just kind of match this up a little bit to the skirt. I do have some tools that would automate this a little, but it's one of those situations where it's probably faster to just do it yourself than mess about with another tool. Which is a good rule of thumb when you're only doing one thing, especially for something like a game jam. things don't need to be perfect. And a lot of things you're only going to do once. However, if you are going to do things a number of times, then even in a game jam, it can be worth doing them a bit more slowly and a bit more precisely, and setting things up so that you can replicate your work again and again, especially if you're doing multiple characters or something. I wouldn't necessarily do this the way that I'm doing it right now, but because I'm only making this one character, I only have to do one set of clothing. It doesn't need to fit any other characters. I don't need to make sure it's perfect. And in this case, push through of the mesh. I will probably, for performance's sake, hide the interior mesh somewhat when we get that far, because we just don't need it. It's not like this character's taking their clothes off or changing clothes or anything like that, so we're just not going to need to have functional internal geometry. Now, t-shirts, all clothes really, and this is where, if you've ever seen Daz Studio models, everyone does it wrong. Cloth stretches across breasts, doesn't magically conform around them, so we don't want that sticking into her chest there. We just want to roughly make it look like it's pulling across. And so what I was talking about pop through there, I don't need to worry about these bits of her breasts popping through there because I'm probably just going to hide them anyway. That bit of the breast geometry probably won't even be there, so I'm not too fussed about it at all. Whereas something like the arms, you need to have it done well enough for a little bit so it makes the illusion that it fits properly, and then you can hide the rest of the body on the inside. And again, that's good for performance too. If you don't need the character to change clothes or anything, then you can save a bunch of polygons by hiding that internal geometry. It is considered lazy in a lot of circles, but as I say, if they're not going to take their clothes off or change clothes, then you don't need to worry about having perfect internals and stuff, because literally they will never be seen in the project. If I wanted to use this character for something else later, if I was like, this game's the best idea ever and I'm just going to prototype it in this jam and then we're going to keep going, maybe I would spend more time and do things more properly, in the inverted commas, sort of properly, where other people would be like, you're not doing it right. Go away, those people. Okay, so pull that up and stretch these out. Your t-shirt tends to hang down a bit at the sleeves. Yeah, that's all right. I'll do the same thing here. So again, particularly stretch fabrics do what their name says, they stretch. So you sort of have things look like they're pulling a bit. Obviously, you don't want to do too much of that in this kind of thing, because obviously this character is going to move. So if you make things look too obvious, when the character moves, it's going to be really obvious that you sort of baked in certain things. And sometimes like here, I have to compromise. Like I'd like to have this as close as possible to her skin, but because I haven't got a ton of geometry on this shirt, I am not going to be able to get it as close as I would like to. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So now what I'm going to do, I think, is take a quick look at it if I smooth it out. That's pretty nice, smooth. Have a look at what's the geometry. It goes from 350 to 5,000. 5,000's fine. What's the skirt do? And then goes to 2,200. So that's pretty good, actually. So that's pretty reasonable for clothing. And her mesh, by the time we finish with her, she's probably going to be about, I don't know, 30 or 40,000. I'm okay with that, I think. All right, so actually, it's going to be more than that because some of this we're going to double down on, which is what I'm about to do now. I'm going to make this, I don't know, 2 millimeters. Oh, didn't like that. I'll do the Z translate instead. Yeah. Great, so we've got a bit of thickness there now. And don't be that guy. Thank you. Waistband. Alright, that's looking pretty good. And we've got t-shirt will look good once we melt it down. Alright, so I think I might just end the stream there because I work faster off stream.